Welcome to Live DAF, your online DAF Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem and welcome back to today's DAF Hayomi GITTEN Lamed Gimel. We are holding on the third line from the top of the Amud, Amar Rav Nachman. So back to the Mishnah, where we learn as follows. Barishoina, in the early days, a husband can just send a get and then decide to be mevatel that get wherever he is, from long distance. You don't have to actually approach that messenger or the Isha and inform them that you have nullified the get. You can just cancel it wherever you are. But that created confusion and pitfalls, as we're going to see in the Gemara a bit later. And therefore Rabban Gamliel Hazaken came and he was misaken that you may not do that. Why? Mipnei tikun ha'olam, which the Gemara will soon explain for us. So stop canceling your get at a distance. Rather, if you wish to be mevatel the get, you have to inform the shliach, the isha, of what you are doing. Now, initially, when it was okay to be mevatel the get in front of just a bezdin in a different town, how many dayanim did that bezdin require? We have a machlekes. Rav Shesha says standard, full count bezdin, 3 dayanim. Rav Nachman says in this case they did not require a full count bezdin, even a mini bezdin comprised of 2 dayanim, which is sometimes considered a bezdin, was sufficient for this purpose. Okay, so right in the middle of that discussion, Amar Rav Nachman, how do I know in fact that even 2 dayanim are considered a bezdin? And yesterday we ended off with a Mishnah discussing the pruzbul arrangement. So in order to ensure that there will be Yidden lending money to each other without fear of Shemitah canceling the loan, Hillel Hazaken was misaken a pruzbul, where you transfer your loan, the malva, the creditor, transfers that loan to the bezdin. They're sort of administering the loan, and therefore there's no cancellation in terms of Shemitah is concerned. So that pruzbul document is what we discussed yesterday, and it contains a declaration from the bezdin. Look, we accepted the, we were present when the Baal Chayiv came, and he transferred it to us, and they signed the document, and that's his pruzbul document, which allows him to collect after Shemitah. So Rav Nachman says, if you take a close look at that Mishnah, you will see that even 2 dayanim are considered a bezdin. How do I know that? This not hadayanim chosmin lamata. Oya edim. Who signs on the bottom of that pruzbul document? The Mishnah references either dayanim or edim. My love, shall we not assume it's comparable in terms of count, in terms of the number of individuals. Dayanim dumya da edim. Right? You can sign it either by way of the dayanim or the edim. We assume it's the same amount, same number of people. Dayanim like edim, and we know that edim are 2. Ma edim shnayim af dayanim. Likewise, if dayanim choose to sign that document, nami is also shnayim. We're speaking about the same number of people. So apparently, 2 dayanim are considered a bezdin. Here as well, when it comes to be mevatel a get, 2 are sufficient. That's Rav Nachman's right. Rav Sheshes, he responds, me the area. How can you compare? Who says to compare Hakadisa of Hakadisa? Well, the dayanim are 3 and the edim are 2. Each one has its own set of rules. No comparing. Now, according to Rav Nachman, we understand why the Mishnah concludes it with dayanim signing or the edim signing, to pretty much illustrate to us that the numbers are the same. But according to Rav Sheshes, different numbers. So why does the Mishnah have to say, that you have 2 options? Dayanim can sign, the edim can sign. It's pretty obvious that anybody can sign as a signature on the document. Why does the Mishnah have to present both options? The chilish of the Mishnah is like this: you have 2 options in terms of drafting the pruzbul document. You can either have the actual text worded in a lashon dayanim, We, the Dayanim, were present when the Malva came to us, and we officiated over the proceedings. It's more of a formal Dayan type of expression, and have it signed by the Eidim, Ruvain, Ben Shimon, Eid, etc. That works. Or the other way as well. V'loishna, no difference if it's Kasa B'lashon Eidim or Chasmi Dayanim. If the actual text is written in a sort of a testimony, a witness type of format. We saw the Dayan, this thing happening, and we're sort of testifying that it happened, and it's signed by Reuven and Shimon Dayan, Shimon and Levi Dayan. So either way, the point is the same. You have to have a body of a DAF, a principle, and the signatures on bottom. Whether it's written in this format, that format, it's okay. But not to say that we're speaking about the same number of people. Dayanim 3 and Eidim 2, says Rav Sheshus. So that was in the good old days. But then Rabbi Gamliel came along and says, it's not going to work. You cannot be mevatel a get at a distance, far away. What's the tikkun olam that we're concerned about? What type of pitfall can it present? Tubshat. Rabbi Yehuda Omar, very simple. It can generate mamzerim, chas v'shalom. If you cancel your get and the wife doesn't know and she remarries, big problem. Rosh Lagish Amar, a different issue. Because it can generate agunos, abandoned, shackled women that cannot remarry. Explains the Gemara. Rabbi Yehuda made takanas mamzerim savalak Rav Nachman, because Rabbi Yehuda is going with Rav Nachman, who told us, how many dayanim do you need? Just 2. Now, when something is done in the presence of 2, it doesn't necessarily make great waves. It doesn't make the news. Less lahu kala, doesn't have the same power of publicity. In which case, she will never get wind of this fact that he was mevatel her get. V'hila shama, v'hila yada. She doesn't hear, she doesn't know. V'azla u'minsaba, and she goes and remarries, thinking her get is valid. V'ika mamzerim. There you go. You have mamzerim generated. So stop this practice. No more bittul from far away. His concern is agunos. Why do we stop bittul at a distance? Agunos. Explains the Gemara. Savalak Rav Sheshus. Rish Lakish is aligned with Rav Sheshus' shita, who says what? The Amar Fnei Gimel. That initially the bittul will take place in front of 3 dayan. Now 3 make the news. Ubeit Lasa is Lukala. Any episode involving 3 people, it gets out. The word travels. V'shama, v'yada, and certainly the Isha will hear and find out about the bittul. And actually she'll not go and remarry because she knows the get is bottle. And what happens? And she sits abandoned. V'takanas agunos yudiko. So here the concern is to address any possible abandoned women. And the way Rashi explains it, the husband, if it's easy for him to be mevatel, he might do it to give her a hard time and leave her just, stranded. But once Rabbi Gamliel came and changed the procedure, no more bittul from a distance. If you'd like to be mevatel your get, you have to get on your horse and go travel over there. Run after the shliach, or go tell the wife in advance of the arrival of the get. That's a big tircha. That takes real effort. And if his motive is just to give her a hard time, he wouldn't resort to that. So that sort of protects the interest of the Isha. Oh, so bottom line is, al pidin, you can do bittul from a distance. Rabbi Gamliel Hazakel canceled that option. Because of tikkun olam, we have 2 pshatim on that. Here comes a new machlekes. Tanu Rabbana. We learned in a brayso. Bitloi, suppose nowadays, after Rabbi Gamliel's takana, one goes ahead and does bittul from far away, in defiance of the takana. What happens? Does it work or not? Bitloi mevutel. Divrei Rabbi. Rabbi holds, although he went against the takana, after all, he was mevatel the get. The husband is in the driver's seat and the get is no longer valid. Rabban Shimon Gamliel Eimer, no. He says, Einoi Yochel. Post takana, husband is totally not in control. He can't be mevatel, or if you'd like to add some conditions to the get, you can't do that. It's over. He sent it off. It's out of his hands. Shem came because otherwise, if you allow him to still have control, even after the takana of Rabbi Gamliel Azokin, then ma koyach bezdin yafa. What authority does bezdin have to enact takanas if you can just go and violate them and defy them at will? Therefore, says Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, husband is powerless to be mevatel the get in this manner. Asks the Gemara, it's all good and well. You want to keep the authority of bezdin in place, but he was mevatel his get. Umi ikamidi. Since when do you have a situation the get is gone, null and void. Umi shuman, because of this factor of makoyach bezdin yafa sharina and eshes ish la'alma, you're going to keep the get intact and allow the woman who's technically an eshes ish, because there is no get, you're going to allow her to go and remarry? Says the Gemara, 100%, sure. You know why? Called Mekadesh, Adata the Rabbanon Mekadesh. When a person's Mekadesh and Isha, what does he say? Harayat Mekudeshes Libetabas Zu, and he adds 3 words: Kedas, Moshe v'Yisrael, in accordance with the laws and guidelines set forth and established by Moshe, the leader of Klal Yisrael. So, any Yid who's Mekadesh and Isha, it's with that mindset. And guess what? The Rabbanon undid his Kedushin. You're committed to our guidelines? Okay, we say you never married her if you engage in this practice. So this fellow was married 20 years, sent a get to his wife, decided to make this clandestine bittul. Chachamim say she's free to remarry. What do you mean? It's no get. Well, you were never married. Asks the Gemara, Amarle Ravina Ravashi, Tenech the Kanish Bekas, but that works if a person is Mekadesh with coins, with a ring. So the power of Bezdin Hefker is to undo that Maasa. They sort of render the ring ownerless. It wasn't yours, it was Hefker. So there's no Kedushin, there was no marriage to begin with. So we have a mechanism in place to address that. But Kaddish B'Biyah Mekel Memar, if this fellow is Mekadesh in another way, so we're interacting with her as married, how are you going to undo that? Bia. Answers the Gemara, there as well, Shavyu Rabbanu Bilasei Bilasnus Chachamim considered his interaction with her as a non-marriage related interaction, and therefore it has no Kedushin value. There was no Kedushin, there was no marriage, and she's free to go. So we had this one machlokes so far between Rebbe and Rabban Shimon Gamliel. Nowadays, where you're not meant to be mevatel clandestinely. If he went ahead and was mevatel, what happens? Rebbe says it's batel, the get is no longer valid. And Rabban Shimon Gamliel says, well, you went against the Takanas Chachamim, the get stands, and the way the Gemara explains it, there was never a marriage to begin with. Either way, she's free to marry. Tanar Rabbanon, here comes another machlokes between the same Tanoim, in a slightly different case, but slightly related to the previous discussion. Amar la Asara. Kisfu get li ishti. Husband turns to 10 people and says, Rabbi Yisai, please write a get for my wife. Now, he did not use the word kulchem, which would require all of them to participate, in writing and signing the get. No, he said, kisfu get li ishti, which basically allows all of them to take care of it, but they don't all necessarily have to be involved. So Rashi explains, 1 out of the 10 will write the get, Reuben will write, and Shimon and Levi will sign, and the rest don't necessarily have to be involved. So let's say the husband, decides to disqualify 2 out of the 10. Reuben and Shimon, I don't want you being involved. You can do that, even though the other one don't know about it. That's according to Rebbe Shita, Divrei Rebbe. So basically, the other 10 will be involved, but the first 2 not. Rabban Shimon Gamliel, no, you can't do that. If you want to disqualify, 2 out of 10, you could only do it in front of them all. They all must know about it. What's this machlokes dependent upon? What's it about? But Ma'ika Mifleki answers the Gemara, Be'edus shebotla miktsasa botla kulaka Mifleki. The machlokes says if the husband is mevatel part of the edus, part of the group, Eidus shebat mektsasa. Does that disqualify everybody? Is it like sort of all one package? In which case, says Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, you shouldn't do that. And in fact, if you do it, we sort of cancel that directive. Meaning, if you ask 10 people to do it for you and you come back and you disqualify 2, we don't reckon with that. Chachamim took away that power of yours. It's like the previous Gemara, like Rabbi Shimon Gamliel Shita in the previous Gemara, they sort of took you away from the scene. They took away your power to manipulate the procedure here, because, as the Gemara explains, Rabbi Shimon Gamliel holds that in this case where you have addressed a group of people and asked them to be involved in your get, it's like one package. It's like all or nothing. If you rescind your authority from 2 of them, they're all incapable of being involved in the get. They all lose their authority. Eidur shebatl mektsasa, batl kula, everything's batl. So therefore, we don't allow you to do anything like that, because imagine, he asks 10 people, then he finds 2 on the street, he says, yo, you 2, I don't want you being involved. And really, that affects everybody. Now everything's batal. The other 8 have no clue. Right? This was done without their knowledge. They have no clue that their whole task was canceled. The whole job was rescinded. So they're going to go and proceed with the get, which is not really a valid get. Therefore, he holds you can't do this. Shaloi b'fnei zeh, it doesn't work. Rabbi Savar, Eido shebat l'mektsasa loy bat l'kula. So again, that's the machlekes. Whether we say the whole thing is batal or not. According to Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, when you mavatal the shlichas of 2, everything is batal, and that creates a danger of confusion, because the other ones will just proceed without knowing that their whole authority was rescinded. Whereas Rabbi holds no. When you go back and you rescind the authority of 2, you mavatal their personal shlichas. It doesn't affect the rest of the group. They can continue. They can proceed with giving the get. There's no concern of confusion or pitfall. Rabbi Savar Eido Shabbat Mektsasa Loi Bat Lekula V'Yaz Li'anach. So now if the other 8 go ahead, the Kasvi Yahavi, right to get and give it to her, it's fine. It's a perfectly valid get. We'll let them do that. Gesundheit. And therefore there's no concern with revoking the authority of 2 individuals. Let the rest continue and give. Whereas Rabban Shimon Gamliel Savar Eido Shabbat Mektsasa Bat Lekula, when you mevatel part of the edus, part of the group, part of the shlichus, everything becomes batal. Everything falls by the wayside. And if we allow you to revoke the koyach of 2 of them, what's going to happen? V'hanach, the rest of the group, lo yadi, will have no clue. V'az liva kasvi, and they'll go on the right to get, v'yahavi, and give it to her, v'sharu. Eshes ish la'amu. It turns out that an eshes ish is going and remarrying with an invalid get. So Chachamim took away your koyach, and you can't be mavatal a partial shlichus. That's one pshat, which is confusion dependent, which is pitfall dependent. Here comes another pshat. In the machlokes between Rebbe and Rabban Shimon Gamliel. Not a gzeira concern, not a confusion concern, more of a halacha concern, straight away halacha concern. The Kuli Alma, everybody holds Eido Shebat Mektsasa, no, Loi Bat Lekula. Shemavatal part of the shlichus, the rest can go give the get. So there's no concern of confusion and pitfalls. The Rabban Shimon Gamliel, so what's his reason? Why can't you do this? He holds you can't. You simply can't. Kasavar Milsa the Misabda Asara. He holds that a process which was initiated with 10 people. It's a package. It's a group. There's a collective undertaking of responsibility, and therefore tzricha bei asara. You need those same 10 to be present when you want to revoke it, lemishlafa, to pull it out, so to speak. So you can't just do a partial bittul. It's either all or nothing. Until you address them all as a collective group, until they're all aware of this bittul, it doesn't mean anything. And they're fully authorized to proceed with the get process. So bottom line, So far we had two machlokes between Rebbe and Rabban Shimon Gamliel. Right, so initially the husband could be mevatel the get wherever he was, even without actually approaching the shliach or the isha. Rabban Gamliel canceled that process. We have concerns of tikkun ha'olam. And the question was now, let's say a person is mevatel. Shaloi b'fnei hashliach. Does it work or not? Rebbe says, b'diavad it works. Rabban Shimon Gamliel holds it doesn't work. Because otherwise, well, what good is the Bezdin's authority if you can just defy their word and violate their takanos? So, a husband can't be mevatel get in this manner. And actually, Rabbanan took away his whole kedushin lemafreya. He was never married to her, so now she's a free bird. Machlokes number 2 involves a husband who addresses 10 people. Please go write a get for my wife. He did not say the word kulchem, which would require them all to be actually involved in writing and signing. He's pretty much authorizing 10 people to look after his personal business, to look after the get. He decides to revoke the power from 2-3 of them. Does that work? Rabbi says, sure, you can do that. According to Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, you can't do that. We have 2 ways to explain, which is very important to keep in mind for the next shtickle Gemara. The 2 ways were like this, 2 tracks. Is it another gzera type of concern, lest to bring to confusion and pitfall and michshel, or is it more of a technical problem, which doesn't allow for this partial cancellation? According to track 1, it was a takana issue, a gzera issue, because according to Rabban Shimon Gamliel, Eidos Shabbat Lemektsasa, when a part of a Eidos, we're calling them Eidos, basically, part of a group is cancelled, everything gets cancelled as one. It's one unit, it's one package. So if you mevatel 2, without the other ones knowing, without the other ones present, then they'll not reckon with it. And they'll go give the get, even though they're really batel now. Going to pshat number 2, just a halachic problem. Once you authorize 10 people as a group, you can't just return and address 2 of them and revoke. You have to go and address the whole group as one. What will be the nafkamina? Iboilo. Here comes a new question. Kulchem mahu. Husband approaches 10 people and says, Kulchem, kisvu get liishti, all of you, give a get to my wife. Right? So all of you sign the get. So now he actually wants them all to be involved in signing the get. Mahu. Can he go ahead and be mevatel? Kick 2 out of the group without the other ones knowing. Shaloi b'fnei kulam. Can he do that or not? And it depends on those 2 tracks mentioned before. Let's see. Tama de Rabban Shimon Gamliel. Is Rabbi Shimon Gamliel's shita based on the first track, Mishum de Kasavar Eidos Shebatla Miksasa Batla Kula, that when you cancel part, everything gets cancelled, and therefore you shouldn't do it because the other ones won't know and they'll go give the get? That concern would not apply in this case. You know why? V'hani over here, Kivin the Amrlu Kulcham, since he's requiring all of them to actually sign the get. Leimatsu Kasvi V'yahavi. They know they can't just, 8 of them can't just get up and write a get and take it away. They're going to meet up to sign it together, and they'll find out that the get was batel. The shlichus was batel. They won't do it. So over here, there's no concern of pitfall. In the previous case, the other ones could just run and do it themselves. And here he said, Kulchan, they all have to sign. They all have to be there, all 10 of them. So over here, there's no concern. If we allow the husband to be mevatel part of the shluchim, shaloi b'fnei the other ones. So that's one approach. Or perhaps track number 2 was right. Tama de Rabban Shimon Gamliel. His reason was Mishum de Kasavra called Milsademis Abda Ba'ape Bi'asara, something which was done in conjunction with a group of 10. Tzricha Bi'asara Lemishlefa. If you want to revoke it, if you want to cancel it, if you want to alter it, you need all 10 there. And if that's the case, Afilu Kulchem Nami, even in this case where it's Kulchem, you can't change the terms of the deal unless everybody's involved. Tashma, comes a riot to the shayla. Basically, we're going to look for a case a brisa which would seem to contain a case that solves our question. It's going to be a case where there's no issue of confusion and pitfall, because there's awareness, everybody knows what's going on, and still you can't do it. Okay? That would indicate to us that it's more of a halachic, technical thing. You have to be, everybody has to be involved if you want to revoke, if you want to alter the conditions. Okay? Tashma, Amar l'shnayim, he turns to two people. This is the husband, right? Tnu get li'ishti. Give a get to my wife. The halacha is, when you speak to two people and you ask them to make a get for you, they both have to sign. They're like the Adam. Okay, so there's no issue of unawareness. They both are participating. They're both there. They both have to actually be involved in making the get. It's like kulcha. What does the Brisa say? Can a husband cancel one without the other? Yeah, yachal levatel zeh shlei b'fnei zeh. You can cancel Reuben without telling Shimon. Divid Rabbi. Rab Shimon leil Eimer. No. Eino yachal levatel elo zeh b'fnei zeh. No, even in this case, you can't be mevatel one on his own. They both have to be there if you want to be mevatel. Now the case of instructing two people, dechi kulchem dami, is like the case of kulchem, because they're both actively involved. They're both signing the get. Uplige, we have the same machlokes, meaning still, even in this case, where there's no concern of unawareness and keeping the other one in the dark, because they're both going to be there. They're both going to know what happened. The one aid will inform the other one about the bittul. Still, we have a machlokes, same machlokes. Rabban Shingamlil says you can't do it. Apparently, his concern is track 2. The other pshat that we had, which was, well, when you granted authority to a group, in this case it's 2 people, if you want to change things, you have to approach them again and change it. As a collective entity, you can't do one without the other. Right? Because in this case, again, there's no concern of confusion. Because they're both going to be actively involved in any get that will be written. And if one aid knows that the get was cancelled, he'll tell the other one. If one aid knows that the shlichus was cancelled, he'll tell the other one. So why can't you? Because you just can't. You impose the job, you gave them the shlichus as a group, you have to remove it as a group. Amar Rav Ashi. No, maybe, perhaps, the concern is still because of the gzera. And you're right, ibe edik siva. Suppose these 2 Edom were tasked with actually writing and signing the get, in which case they have to do it, in tandem with each other. You're right. If that would be the case of the brisa, everybody would agree that you can be mevatel, one, and not be concerned that the other one will go ahead and proceed with the get, because he won't do it on his own. He'll meet up with the first aid. He needs him to complete the get. He'll find out that the whole thing was cancelled. What then? You know what type of task, what type of shlichus we're speaking about? He tasks them with delivering the get, not writing it, delivering the get. So he approached 2 friends, Reuben and Shimon, please deliver this completed get to my wife. Amar l'shnayim tnu get li'ishti, go bring it to her. And that contains a gzera, that entails a real chashash. Why? Because picture the following case. He tasked 2 people with delivering the get. And then he goes and is mevatel one of them. Don't be involved. And we learned that miktsas is mevatel everything. So the first fellow can't either go deliver the get. And unbeknown to him, right, he's going delivering the get. Because, you don't need 2 people to actually physically deliver a get. He happened to ask 2 people to do it for him, but technically one could just take it and do it. So he's totally unaware, he's totally in the dark. Reuben has no clue that the husband had approached Shimon, shaloi b'fanav, right? Not in Reuben's presence, and was mevatel shlichus, which nullifies the entire shlichus of Reuben as well. He has no idea, so he's going to continue and give the get. And that's a chashash, that's a gzera. You're going to be mater and ish. But in a case where they're both given a job of writing and signing a get, in which case they both have to participate. Both Eidim have to sign. So there's no concern of being mevatel the shlichus of one, shaloi b'fnei the other, because ultimately they'll meet up and they'll share that information. They'll discover that the get is batel. I'll prove to you, in fact, that we're speaking about this type of shlichus. The Tani Seifa, the Brisa continues. Amar lezeh b'fnei atzmai. Who lezeh b'fnei atzmai? Husband approaches Reuven separately, deliver the get, and Shimon later on in the day says, please play backup. I gave my get to Reuven for delivery. Make sure it happens. So he didn't sort of group them together. They're not one unit. In this case, we allow bittul. Yachol levatal zeh, shaloi b'fnei zeh. He can go to Shimon, be mevatel Shimon's part in the shlichus without Reuven being there. Okay, so the reason is because they're not one unit. He did not task them together as one. He approached Reuven separately, and then Shimon separately. So they're not considered one, tied together as one unit, and you can mevatel one without the other. And be mevatel Shimon's shlichus doesn't affect Reuven's shlichus. And Reuven therefore can continue and deliver the get. So, if in fact the Brisa is speaking about Eidim that were given the job of delivering the get, Shaper, it makes sense that you can nominate Reuven separately and Shimon separately. It's unrelated. But if we're speaking about asking two fellows to actually sign the get as witnesses, well, witnesses have to see the Maisa together. They have to both be present together when the husband gives that instruction. How can you just combine two random individuals? We learned this in the Gemara in Sanhedrin. You can't combine two witnesses unless they saw the story as one. So apparently we're not speaking about Eidei Chasima Saget. We're speaking about couriers, in which case you can ask one and then ask the other, which supports my pshat in the Brisa. No, says the Gemara. No, that's not a raya. Perhaps we're speaking about Eidei Ksiva, Eidei Chasima, and as to your question of combining two unconnected witnesses, maybe you could. Dilman, perhaps, Rabbi Yehuda Kessler, the Brisa is going with the Shita of Rabbi Yehuda Kessler, who allows combining witnesses in this manner, because ultimately they both heard from the husband, even though they heard it at separate times. So let's stop for a second and just recap this whole Gemara. So the Mishnah speaks about Berishoina, and then after the Takana of Rabbi Gamliel Azokin, where he was mevatel that Berishoina practice, which was that they were free to, husband was free to be mevatel get wherever he was without actually informing, the shliach or the isha. But that, of course, created concerns of tikkun ha'olam, whether mamzerim or agunos. So they changed that practice. You can no longer do that. You have to go and find the shliach holding the get and tell him to stop. It has to be done publicly. You can't just clandestinely go and cancel your get. What happens if he does it today? According to Rebbe, it's batel. According to Rabbi Yehuda Kessler, Bezdin has a power which overrides his shlichut, his bittul, and we consider her an unmarried woman. That was one machlekes. Second machlekes was if you have a group of people tasked with looking after the get. He approached only part of the group to be mevatel. What happens then? According to Rebbe, that part is batel. According to Rabbi Yehuda Kessler, nothing is batel. So regarding these two machlekes, what's the psak halacha? Amar Rav Shmuel bar Yehuda Shamis Minei. I heard from the Rabbi Abatarti a psak halacha regarding both these discussions. Chadaka Rebbe. In one halacha we paskin like Rebbe that the bittul works. V'chada in the other halacha Rabbi Shimon Gamliel it doesn't work. I'm not sure which one is what. Lo yadana hay Rebbe, v'hay Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. I'm not sure who he paskin like in which case. So it's one on one. Which one is it? Rav Yosef Nechsi Anan. Let's analyze this. Let's figure it out. Dechi Asa Rav Dimi. When Rav Dimi came, Omar, he said, Masa, there was a story of Asa Rebbe, and Rebbe carried out the halacha k'divrei chachamim, like the chachamim. Now, what is this in reference to? So Rashi brings it to Gemara in Ksubos. So, this fellow is trying to cash in on his lien against his borrower. The Bezdin got involved, and the Bezdin sold off some of the assets, but they committed an error in terms of appraisal. Okay? So what happens now? So according to one shita there, if it's an exaggerated, over appraisal, so then we say it's batal. Okay? But according to Rav Shimon Gamliel, no. If Bezdin carries out a process, puts through an appraisal and a sale, ma koyach Bezdin yafa. Otherwise, what's the point of Bezdin's authority if we go in a question and we challenge their processes? Okay, so that's his shita. And the Gemara relates a story where Rebbe initially followed Chachamim, Ma'asav Asa Rebbe K'div Chachamim, that he sort of retracted, he nullified the sale there because it was an inaccurate appraisal. But what happened? Amar Lafana, Rabbi Parta. So Rabbi Parta approaches Rebbe, and he was Benoi, the son of Rabbi Lezer and Parta, who was Ben Benoi, and he was the grandson of Rabbi Parta Gadol. And he asked Rebbe, Imkain, if that's how we treat Bezdin's, dealings, Ma koyach Bezdin Yafa. What's the point of Bezdin? What type of authority? We're undermining their authority. And Rebbe conceded. Rebbe retracted. V'chaza Rebbe v'asa. He followed the shita of Rav Shimon Gamliel, who subscribes to this concept of koyach Bezdin. Whatever is done is done. Right? So you see clearly that Rebbe himself was chayzer. He agrees with Rabbi Shimon that we have to empower the Bezdin. So in the machlekes in our sugya, right? That was the first machlekes here. Whether we go with koyach Bezdin or not, right? Bezdin says no bittul from long distance, and he went and did it anyways. Rebbe says, okay, done is done. But the opposing shita holds, Rabbi Shimon Gamliel holds, no, koyach Bezdin overrides that, and we ignore his bittul. So if Rebbe agrees in that Gemara and Ksubos to this concept, we assume he agreed with it here as well, and he was chayzer. And apparently, in terms of these two discussions, where we know that Rabbi Abba paskined in one like Rebbe and one like Shimon Gamliel, we assume in the first halacha he paskined like Shimon Gamliel, because even Rebbe, who is the disputant of Shimon Gamliel, took on his shita over there in Ksubos. So, in case number one, we apparently paskin like Shimon Gamliel. If the husband's mevatel a get at a distance, it's worthless. The bittul is ignored. And since in the first case we go like Rav Shimon, and the second machlekes, Rebbe, you passing like Rebbe, because it was 101, right? So we determined which one is Rav Shimon Gamliel, the other one's like Rebbe. Says the Gemara of Rabbi Yehuda ben Usha. He as well. This Amoira also held likewise. So v'chada Rebbe, v'chada Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. One machlekes like Rebbe, the other one like the other. The Amar Rabbi Chana. Rabbi Chana tells us a story. Chamisha Sabi Havinan. We were sitting 5 elders, Kamei de Rabbi Yehuda ben Asha, in front of this Amoira Rabbi Yehuda ben Usha. Sahu Gaver Kamei. So happens that as we were sitting there, this fellow was involved with litigation with his wife, comes there and gets involved in the Din Torah, and Rabbi Yehuda ben Usha ruled against him. V'ashkele gita, and he forced him to give a get al korchen against his will. Right? He forced him to give a get. As per the halachas and Mesachas Ksubos, in some cases we impose a get on the husband. And these chachamim were sitting there, and they were involved in making the get and signing on the get and edus on the get. And Amar Lon. So Rabbi Yehuda, who was running the whole process, tells us, quickly get away from here. Zilu atmuru, go hide. V'kisful, and write the get for her. Why? So that the husband can't find you to be mevatel the get. You need to be fun of. He's not going to find you, so that's going to, nix it in the bud, right? No more bittul issues. Asks the Gemara, well, visa gedetach Rabbi, if Rabbi Yasha would follow Rabbi's shita that you can be mevatel, but the Eved can mevatel wherever he is, then what's the point of hiding him? Even if they hide my havi, what's the gain? Elo shmami, no, Rabbi Shimon Liel. Severely, apparently, he was going with Shimon Liel. Then, unless the Edom are here, he can't be mevatel the get. Okay, so that pretty much proves that. And regarding the other machlekes number 2, could he mevatel part of the shluchim, part of the Edom, without the other ones? And if it were so that Rabbi Yasha took on Rabbi Shimon Liel's shita regarding the second question, that you could only be mevatel when they're all here, lamalahu utmuri. So why does he have to tell him to go hide in order to circumvent any concerns of bittul? We have a more simple solution than having to go into hiding to prevent the husband from playing games. Levadru ivduri. Very simple. Let them just disperse. The Edom should just, separate from each other. So now husband can no longer meet them all as one and be mevatel them as one, which is the requirement. So apparently, Elish Mamino Chanda Karebi. True, in the first halacha, the Ikar halacha, can you be mevatel without the shliach here? And that he holds like Rabban Shimon Gamliel. So hiding provides a solution. But regarding question number 2, when you have a group involved in making the get, can you just cancel part of it? Chada Karebi, and that halacha held like Rebbe. So dispersing them, separating them won't help you much. Because he can mevatel as soon as he finds one of them. V'chada, regarding the other halacha, that you need to have the shliach present, you're right. And that we see clearly Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, and therefore hiding provides a solution to that problem. So according to these shitas, in terms of psak halacha, regarding the 2 discussions, it's 1-on-1. V'ravam Rav Nachman, no, halach Rebbe Rishtain. In both cases we follow Rebbe. So in terms of the group tasked with doing the get, even being mevatel part of them works. You can mevatel part even if you don't meet the other ones. Regarding the first question as well, if the husband goes and is mevatel shaloi b'fnei shliach, it works as well. We don't reckon with the svara of koyach bezin. He shouldn't be doing it. If he does it, it's a bittul. Asks the Gemara, really? V'lesli Rav Nachman? Right, Rav was quoting Rav Nachman, right? Rav Nachman doesn't hold to the svara makoyach bezin yafa, that we give bezin the ultimate authority to override all violations. Rav Nachman himself tells us in a different halacha, the name of Shmuel, that we do adopt this idea of koyach bezin yafa. So we have a case like this. Isoimim, we have youngsters. Shabo lach like b'nichsevim, they're coming to divide their father's inheritance. They're not so familiar with the ins and outs of real estate, so we have Bezdin looking after them. Bezdin ma'amidin lehem apotropos, Bezdin appointed administrator, boirin lehem chelak yafim, they'll go and choose, they'll divide the real estate properly so that each child gets what he deserves. Higdilu, now the children grow up and they become bigger and smarter. They can protest, they can say, look, this was unfair, I was supposed to get this side, not that side. That's the first shita. For Rav Nachman the Deyamar, Rav Nachman who quotes Shmuel, Rav Nachman himself disagrees. No, even if they grow up and they dislike their portion, they cannot appeal it. You know why? Bezdin was involved. It's a done deal, Dim Kain, because otherwise, ma koyach Bezdin yafa. In which way is Bezdin exercising their authority? They're the last word, and they carried it out. They implemented this. No cancellations. So if that's the case, why is our halacha different? Why do we allow the husband to carry out his cancellation in spite of Bezdin's objection? Big difference. Over there we're speaking about mammon issues. where we know Hefker, Bezdin, Hefker can play a very central role in carrying out Bezdin's decisions. So if it was implemented by Bezdin, it's too late. Even if it was done in a perhaps slightly unjust way in their perception, it's over. Hefker, Bezdin, Hefker. Whereas by get, was dealing with Isser beheter. Husband was mevatel the get, period. It's not a get. Despite the fact that he defied the wishes of Bezdin. And he doesn't hold the svara that we had before. You know, that the Chachamim umafkia the whole Kedushin, and he was never married to her. It's going a bit too far, and therefore he holds that ultimately if he was mevatel the get, the get is batel. Okay, so let's just do a quick summary. We have a Mishnah. A fellow sends a get to his wife, and he has a change of mind, change of heart. He wants to be mevatel. V'rishona, they would be mevatel, wherever the husband was. But of course, that created concerns. Tikkun ha'olam. Now, what were the Tikkun ha'olam issues? Either takanas mamzerim, because the isha will have no clue that it wasn't his batel, she'll go remarry, or takanas aguris, making it too easy for the husband to cause trouble. So we stopped that practice. Rather, you have to go actually find the shliach or the isha and inform them of the bittul. Now, initially, how many dayanim were needed to be mevatel? We have Rav Nachman who says 2, Rav Shesha says 3. Nowadays, Rav Glil is mevatel this whole practice. What happens if the husband does the bittul anyways? Rebbe says it's mevutel, and Rabbi Yehuda disagrees. The koich of Bezdin overrides it, and it works by nullifying his whole marriage to begin with. So the get is still a valid get. She can go and remarry. Machlokes number 2 involves a group of people who were tasked with looking after the get. The husband decides to be mevatel, take some of them off the list. Can he do that? Rabbi says, yeah. And Rabbi Yehuda says he can't do it. We have 2 pshatim. Either, again, it's a gzeira-based, takana-based concern, or we view them as one collective entity. You can't alter and change and manipulate without everybody present. The question, was which approach to take. We tried to bring a raya, and we did not have a conclusion on that. Halacha l'maisa, according to some shittos, in the first case we paskin like Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, that the husband power has been revoked by the koyach bezdin. He cannot be mevatel at a distance. Whereas in case number 2 with the bittul miktzas, we follow Rabbi Shita that it works. And according to Rav Nachman, we paskin like Rebbe on both accounts. All the best to you and much hatzlacha.